Welcome to the Gold+Roundup. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here reviewing all of the games with gold and the PlayStation Plus games for January 2017.
Because as we always say, these games, although free, may not be worth your time.
Yes.
However, we're going to start with the Swindle, which was on PS3, PS Vita, PS4. Exceptional. I'm gonna, my personal opinion, this is the highlight of this month as far as free games go. You go through and you're trying to steal as much money as you can and build up. You have a time limit. You have 100 days to try to take out the ultimate crime fighting device, I guess.
Yeah, something
it's called like the Basilisk or something. It's wonderful. The music is excellent. Yes. The art is pretty. Everything about this game is fun, and I just wanted to keep on playing it.
Yeah.
And I should have gone to sleep several times, but I was like, I can do one more.
And that's a sign of a good game. I'm not normally big into the roguelike, kind of games. I mean, I like them, all right, but this one kept me playing over and over, even though that time limit kept going down.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to push, even though I knew I wasn't going to beat it.
Yeah,
it was so fun.
And that's the thing, is like your first 100 days, you learn some things, you get to some of the later levels, you figure out how to do it. So every time you play through it, don't worry about failing. It's okay to fail.
Yes,
that's part of the game, and it's really cute, wonderful. Like I said, the art style is good. Even if you don't have PlayStation Plus, but you do have a PS4, PS3, or PS Vita, pay $10, get a month, grab this game, or just buy it off the store,
or just buy it. It's
wonderful.
It's that good.
You know, it's not that good.
BlazeRush.
Nope.
Yeah, so when I first saw this game, I thought, okay, well, this could be a fun kind of callback racing game. It reminded me of that
Micro Machines,
the Micro Machines game on
RC
NES.
Pro-Am, stuff like that.
And I was like, okay, this could be cool.
But then it wasn't.
So not only is there are multiple attributes. You get the handling, you have mass, and you have acceleration on the cars. Acceleration spot on. The other ones are maybe not as much. But the worst part of this is that if you get too far into a lead, the way that the camera works, the camera isn't following you, it's still following kind of the pack, so you can go off of the screen, almost off the screen, because you're in the lead, so now you can't see yourself.
Yeah. So you can see the weapons that they're shooting at you, but you can just off a cliff because you can't see what you're doing. It's poorly designed. It looks pretty, but the game itself is not worth playing because they just didn't think these things through well enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of the things that are a waste of your time, Akend 2 on PS Vita.
Yes.
There are better Match 3 games.
They're a lot
on mobile, and they can stay there.
And they're free. And they're free on mobile.
Yeah.
This game should not be anywhere.
It also had like a Where's Waldo thing, but it would show you like a little piece of the world, but it might be flipped or turned, and like it's and like at one point it was basically like a patch of the world with a sliver of gray in a corner. I don't know where that is. So like it's, as far as Match 3 games, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's nothing exceptional. As far as games, Match 3 is not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
Skip it.
Yeah. Another thing I would skip, unless you really love fighters, is Killer Instinct Season 2.
Okay.
The first one, it was Killer Instinct. This is more
it's Killer Instinct.
It's more of the same. It's more of the same characters that you might like, but it's more of button mashy stuff that just does. There are better ways to do fighting games. Tekken is so much better than this. Street Fighter is so much better than this. Injustice is better than this. And they just started doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Unless you just really love trying all the different fighters, unless you're a really huge Killer Instinct fan, I would skip this. It's really only for the hardcore people. It's so button mashy, it's not even funny. Like I can button mash and get through a lot more than I should, and that's what all the opponents did online. So
yeah,
skip it.
Next up, we have World of Van Helsing Deathtrap, which is a hybrid of like a top-down single person. It's not a dungeon crawler because you're just controlling yourself while waves of enemies come through, and a tower defense game.
Isometric tower defense.
It's a lot closer to Dungeon Defenders, where you set up your traps and then you have your hero, and you're using your hero to go through. Isometric gameplay, which is fine and everything, but the problem is, main problem, is that they restrict the towers that you can put to a tower in a certain genre per section, which means that there's no strategy. Like you choose to put a tower here, a tower here, a tower here, but you don't get to pick which ones. A lot of them have really fun synergies that if you could bounce them off of each other would be a lot of fun, but you only get so many options per section. The upgrade tree is nice. The hero upgrade tree is really good, but because the tower defense side is so weak, I'm gonna have to say skip this one.
It's not intuitive in any way on what you're how you're supposed to build, how you're supposed to upgrade. Just skip it.
And it's not intuitive, and it's not worth figuring out. Frankly,
that's exactly right.
Titan Souls, on the other hand, is kind of unintuitive because you have a single arrow.
Yes, purposely unintuitive. I would say
that is your offense. Not intuitive, but simplistic.
Yes.
And that's one of the major differences, because Titan Souls is a boss rush game, which is also a new genre that kind of came out of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the entire game is a series of boss fights, and every boss will annihilate you the first time you encounter them.
The first 20 times.
But then you figure them out. You figure out the strategy. Like you fight them several times and you kind of figure out what it is. Because the boss dies in one hit, you die in one hit. Yeah. And it's wonderful.
Yes.
And it's so much fun to just sit there. Because like you come upon this... My favorite was there's a boss that lives underwater.
Okay.
And you have these little ice capsules that you land on. That's the only place from which you can shoot an arrow. But wherever you are, the monster comes up out of that and then goes back into the water. And so what you have to do is you have to lure him to a certain place by swimming around and then jump out of the water and quickly draw the bow and shoot. And it's you don't hit him in the head, you hit him in the tail.
Yeah.
Seriously, Titan Souls is a lot of fun, and it's the kind of puzzle that I like.
Yes.
The kind of puzzle where the puzzle is, okay, how do I approach this enemy? What is it?
Yes.
The game's really good about giving you clues. Like there will be, the big red spot. This is where you hit the boss. But because of the patterns, because of the way that the enemy behaves, there's another enemy. Not to go too long on this game, there's another enemy that has two fists, and one will be guarding the weak spot, and the other one will be trying to pound you. But there's a split second after this one pounds when this one comes out to pound you, and that's when you
dodge, shoot, dodge,
shoot, dodge, and it's really fun. And even though it's only one hit enemies, you feel so wonderful. You're like, yes, I have defeated this enemy. And that sense of accomplishment.
They're one-hit enemies,
really
but it's not
fantastic.
one hit anywhere. It's very specific on how you have to hit them. I love it,
You have to figure them out. You have to figure out how to do the thing that you figured out how to do. And then you have to implement it.
Yes. The implementing is the hard part, but it's a blast.
It's a lot of fun.
Speaking of puzzles, we also got Day of the Tentacle on PS4 and crossbite over to PS Vita, and
which is cute.
Which I love. I love this game. I loved it back in the day. This is not one of those intuitive puzzle games, though. This is a Tim Schafer fun. Look at this weird stuff. How do I figure this out? How do I solve this? But a lot of them aren't that unintuitive, because you're playing between three different characters. One is accidentally sent into the past. One is accidentally sent into the future. And what you do in the past changes everything.
Right.
So it's not that unintuitive, but this game is a blast. For the humor and everything, I would highly recommend checking this out.
Speaking of the humor, I love the fact that you're playing three nerds.
You have Hoagie, who is probably a roadie for like some band. Yeah, and then you have I forget the girl's name. I know, right?
Sexist monster.
She's psycho and like talks about like gouging eyes and stuff. I mean, she's weird. So
okay,
really, But
I'm gonna have to watch your playthrough. Speaking of which, we have a playthrough of Day of the Tentacle Remastered up on our channel. So if you don't want to play but you want to watch, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, because it's hilarious. If you don't want to play it, then watch the playthrough, and I'll put a link to it at the end of the video. Why not? Another game we got was This Little War of Mine.
Oh, this little war of mine. I'm gonna let it shine.
So this War of Mine, the little ones.
This War of Mine, the little ones.
Yes.
This is actually a really sobering. Okay, American History X.
Yeah.
Is a movie that's not fun to watch.
No.
But I feel like it's important for everyone to watch.
Yes.
I feel like this is my opinion. This War of Mine is a game that we should all play. It focuses on the impact of war on the civilians who are within the war. They did not decide this. They did not choose this life. As a video game, it's good. As an exploration into the psyche of experiences other than your own, it is exceptional.
Yeah.
This War of Mine, the little ones, focuses on characters who are within a war zone but unable to affect change within the war, and that is a really important thing for us to always consider. I'm not going to get political here or anything, but in war, the soldiers are not the only ones affected. Yeah. And this game was really important for me personally to reflect on that and think about the consequences of war.
Yeah.
You are trying to make very difficult ethical decisions, and within those decisions, I was constantly reminded of the fact that there are real people for whom this is their life.
Yeah.
That was a very sobering thing for me, and so I think that this, as American History X, is an important game.
Yeah.
And because they gave it to you for free, if you have a PS4, I encourage you to go check that out.
Yeah. I do. I really do. I also encourage you to check out The Cave on Xbox 360, backwards compatible to Xbox One.
Which is much less dismal.
Much less dismal. Very simple in in the way that it's approaching. It's another puzzle game, but really fun. Another great Tim Schafer. Really fun stuff. The atmosphere and the humor in this is totally worth it. I would suggest playing this do the Patrick method of play it, and if you get stuck, go grab the walkthrough, because it's worth it to play this game, and it's worth it to experience this. It's a really fun game, and it's not that long if you do it that way. So, highly recommend it. Another one I'd highly recommend is Rayman Origins.
Rayman Origins is a lot of fun. If you haven't played any of the Rayman games, they're very tricky platformers, but they're also in very small bite-sized chunks. Mm-hmm. So if you can figure out how to traverse this particular section, you're good.
Exactly. It's a blast. The Rayman games are great, and I love that we're getting these. I love that if you did not grab this, grab it now. Grab it as quick as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a blast, and I love that platformers are still a thing other than Mario.
Yeah. This also has a lot of elements of platformers. Like, it's adding something to the genre, because in my mind, the platform genre is just jumping between stable and solid objects. Rayman takes that to a whole new level, and you've got swinging things and flying things and floating down things and disintegrating worlds.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the fun things, because like if you go through a level the first time, you're like, oh, well, the world disintegrated around me. I don't know what I was supposed to do. And then the second time you're like, oh, there's a platform over there. And it's very good at communicating to you what you should do. You're not going to beat this game your first time through. But as you learn each level, you'll get better at it. And it's fun to figure out how to do it. And then it's fun to do it. And then you feel accomplished. Just like we were talking about earlier with Titan Souls.
Yeah. But this one's not with that ridiculous difficulty. It's fun for the whole family. I mean, I absolutely love it. So check it out. Check out all the other ones that we recommended. And we love you guys.
And skip the rest.
Yeah.